It's my pleasure to welcome John Sexton. He's the president of New York University, a great institution, not just in New York, but around the world, with campuses in many countries and cities. It's a pleasure to welcome you, John.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
NYU stands tall with many other distinguished universities in the world. What is unique about it?
I think what's unique begins with our location in New York. So, universities speak about their endowments. Our monetary endowment isn't as large as many of our peer schools, but we have a locational endowment. New York City really is the world miniaturized. So if you wanted to study the entire world, you could come to New York and you could eat the food of every country, you could hear the prayers of every religion, you could hear the languages and the music of every people in the world. So it starts with that, and then in the last decade, in addition to our locational endowment, we've created what I call a unique structural endowment. We're actually creating what we think will be the form of the 5 or 10 or certainly the 15 or 20 great universities in the world by 25 years from now. And the easiest way to explain it is that we think that the world is evolving into a kind of fluid network of talent and creativity, that there'll be certain idea capitals, cities that stand out, maybe 8 or 10 or 12 of them, that it'll operate much the way the Renaissance did in Italy, where the creative and the talent class moved among Milan and Florence and Venice and Rome, except now it will be 4 other proper nouns, and they'll be on 4 different continents. And New York, we believe, will be one of those, and will be in the network, and we want to create a university where our students come in, and then as part of their study, within the structure of the university, they can choose to be at an NYU campus with our professors and our courses in Sydney, or in Buenos Aires, or in Accra, or in Shanghai, or in London, or in Bombay. And these will actually be places where our university will be, not for students from the local area to come, but for our students to go with our professors and be integrated into the local area. So we call this the Global Network University. It's attracted attention from both Abu Dhabi and Shanghai, and they have both said, can we be doorways the way New York is a doorway? So by 2013, when NYU Shanghai opens up in a unique partnership with the Chinese government, we will have those 3 doorways. And you can enter from any part in the world through New York, through Abu Dhabi, through Shanghai, but once you're in, you then can move among these 16 campuses for a semester or for a year at any one of them. And that structural endowment, in addition to our locational endowment, I think are the 2 things that are literally unique to NYU. We have areas of strength ranging from philosophy to math, to law, to business, to theater, but those 2 are the key unique features.
So you gave a very good example. So I think the roles are switching. If you go into prior decades, students from around the world aspire to come to universities here in the US. But now the models have changed. You're taking the universities and the systems to other parts of the world, so it's more accessible to students from other parts of the world.
Well, let me correct you a little bit. Students will come from around the world to NYU.
I was coming to that, yes.
But most of them will still
Sure.
enter through New York. The campuses around the world principally are places where once you're in, you go.
Yeah. So that was the second part of my question is, a student from Buenos Aires would want to still be able to study at NYU but at a Mumbai campus, and vice versa. Is this the model you're talking about, that people can still get immersed in the cultures of other parts of the world, still getting education from universities like NYU?
Right. Well, so we have a study away site in Buenos Aires, but that student from Buenos Aires couldn't enter through that study away site. He or she would have to come either to New York or to Abu Dhabi or to Shanghai, the 3 doorways in. And then could go to a Mumbai campus or to a Sydney, Australia campus or to a London campus or a Prague campus. That's the idea. But literally, you're right, students from around the world. 97% of the students that will graduate from high school next June will graduate from high schools outside the United States. American universities have gotten a lot of students coming to them from outside the United States, but it's been very passive. We're the first university that's going out to the entire world. We did it first through Abu Dhabi, now through New York, and we'll do it through Shanghai, and say, you can come to us from any part of the world as long as you're strong enough. You have to be among the very strongest in the world. We're one of the most selective schools anywhere, and as we're developing this, we're finding it's attractive to very talented people. So expect the competition to be steep, but we're projecting that by 2020, as much as 30 to 40% of our student body will come to us from outside the United States.
You know, a lot of people, including myself, who are immigrants who have now children born and growing up in this country, see this sort of a dichotomy. Your K through 12 is not where it should be in terms of competitiveness. I don't know how low it ranks now compared to other parts of the world. But your universities are excellent. Indians, just like Chinese parents, struggle every day of their lives, right from kindergarten all the high school, because they want to give everything they have to make sure that kids go to a good school, good education, etc. Where do you see this gap, getting narrower? Because it's a challenge for everybody, for the kids going to, elementary all the way through high school.
Yeah. First, the picture in the United States, as on many things, is a complex one. So when we think of America's universities, we tend to think of the 100 to 200 universities that are world brand names. There are American high schools and elementary schools that are at that level as well. Okay, so we shouldn't paint with too broad a brush. But your general point, which is that American higher education is very strong, in part because it's very diverse, and American K through 12 has been weakening. I think that point is beyond dispute. And I think the reason for it, frankly, is that we as a people in the United States have lost the sense that teachers are perhaps the most important people in our society. And we, especially with K through 12 teachers, have undervalued them, both in terms of the status we accord to a teaching career and with regard to the way we remunerate them. And there are a whole host of other things that go into explaining K through 12 education. Some of it goes to the way when we do assess teachers, we assess seniority and make that more important than performance. There's a lot wrong with American K through 12 education, and we as a people have got to get it fixed. Because if you don't have strong K through 12 education, sooner or later, your higher education system is going to crumble.
John, it's a true pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you very, very much.